Selecting objects is pretty much fundamental to everything we do in a CAD system these days. Whether we're modifying drawings, editing them, changing pens, moving things between layers, transformations, for instance, moving things about, copying, rotating, it all boils down to being able to manipulate the objects that we pick. And so how do we pick these objects? Well, this is the key to it, really. So let's have a look at where Caddie can really score to give you that extra little bit of functionality that really can make a difference in terms of speed in your workflow. So let's start off by just taking what is pretty much every day for a lot of people when they draw. So selecting, just clicking down with nothing selected, clicking left, and then moving to the right, whether up or down. We have a solid box that will just select everything inside of the rectangle we pick. If we do it from right to left, then we get a crossing box, so it'll take anything that we cross there. So that's, as I say, pretty much staple for using a CAD system. However, if we just explore our command line here, so this is what we've just done, we'll see that we have other options. So if we're wanting to select something like this staircase, which is a bit more tricky because there are a few different things in the way, overlapping and so on, what we can do is we can start our trace, but then just hit P on the keyboard, and now we go to a polygon trace. We can trace around here, be really quite specific of where we want to go, right click, option end, and we have just the objects that we need. So we can delete them, we can change the pen properties, so pen color varies, for instance. We could go on to object properties and change them to yellow, and so on and so forth. So it's very, very quick, very, very easy, and just that little bit of extra functionality that can save you multiple operations. Other ways that we can select things is with Quick Select. Now, Quick Select is one of those fabulous tools that gives you a very great scope in what you can pick and how you do it. Now, if we take a look at what we have here on our drawing, imagine, for instance, that somebody's gone around and just exploded all the hatching. So not very easy to manipulate anymore. Some bits are still hatching, some bits like this would be a right pain to eradicate. So how can we do that? Well, taking a quick look at the object properties here, we'll notice that they are in this particular grey pen. So this is our pen 8. So what we can do is we can actually select either over the whole drawing or just in a specific area for that particular pen, and then delete it if that's what we wish to do, or change the pen, or however. So how do we do this? Well, if we right click and go to Quick Select, we see that we have the options for scope, marked, rectangle, and so on. And I'm just going to pick rectangle here, and we'll do just the lines that are in a colour that's equal to that pen 8 that we saw. So if we say select, we just drag our rectangle around the area we've got there, and we'll see all of the objects that are highlighted in our picked colour here. We can go and unselect. You'll see there's an unselect button there, and we can really narrow down on the things that we have. Removing the dialog from the screen with the close, we're still left with our selection. If we just want to hit delete, then that will take them all away. I'm just going to bring those back, so we'll just do a quick undo here, and we see that those are now on the screen once again. But very, very quick, very easy, and incredibly powerful generic tool for selecting things within your drawing. Next on our list is patterns. Now, patterns are a little like blocks in that they tag elements collectively, but whereas blocks will just give you a common origin and edit one and they all change, patterns are more flexible. So if you have something that's a little bit more distinct, you can still have the collective functionality that you would maybe want from the sort of block type of object, but with that individuality still there and present. So how can we create these patterns? Well, they are just groups, and if we just pick on just a few lines here, so I just draw some unconnected lines, you'll see that we can pick all of those individually. If I pick a couple or three, and I could use my other selection options as well, what I can do is on the right click menu I can make them into a pattern. And we can remove them for existing patterns as well if we want to do that. And now, although we can move them individually, we can just select by double click and they're all selected, which gives me access to the move and so on and so forth. So we'll delete all of those, go back to our drawing over here, and we'll notice that we've got individual patterns here which we can pick, which gives us the ability to just pick them individually. If we want to make all of those into a pattern, all we do is go to right click menu, make pattern. Maybe we don't want to remove them from the existing patterns, which will keep the individual ones there as well. So we say no. So that allows us to just pick an individual one, and you can see that you can pick just the individual chair or the whole table and chairs. Pick on that, we could elect to move it if that's what we wanted to do. But they're still there as our individual patterns, able to move, play around with them as we wish. Next, what we'll look at is that tricky thing where you've been working away for a little while, maybe you've selected a whole bunch of objects, you've used the Polygon for selecting some objects, you've got maybe one selected individually, bits of text, bits of all manner of things selected, and then when it comes down to it, the phone rings and you think, ah, right, okay, I need to do that. You forget where you were, you press escape and it's all gone. How can you get back to that situation where you've got all of those objects selected? Well, very easy. On the right click menu you have recall last selection. Click on that, instantly back to where you were. It makes it very, very quick and easy just to resume where you were drawing. And for a little bit of extra functionality, if you go to edit, you'll see you can also store those selected objects and recall them. So that selection of those objects, should I say, is what you can do with the store and recall to recall it at any time. Last on the list for this little tutorial is deleting duplicates. Now, can happen, we've all done it, we've all copied something onto itself, and can be a really difficult thing to get rid of. Maybe even when it comes to time of printing, you realise that you go around your drawing and you're picking on objects, you're changing the pen properties and so on, and then for some reason you still got those big thick objects showing on your screen. Could be that you've got duplicates, so you're only editing the one of multiples. Well, if we go to our select tools down the left hand side here, what we can see is we've got marked duplicates, and in this drawing that we've got here we can see that there are 224 lines, 4 arcs and 2 bits of text which are duplicated. It said text items will be marked, so there we are. If we OK those are now marked. If we want to delete those duplicates, we can just hit the delete key. They're now gone. We can now go back to our marked duplicates and they're removed from the drawing. Very quick, very simple, makes it much easier to track down those difficult objects to find any other way. So there you are, some very quick tips, 5 killer little tips on using selection. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.